In the vast, neon-lit landscape of the digital frontier, thousands of hopeful creators scream into the void, begging for a sliver of the world's attention. Most of them are doomed to stay in the shadows, lost in a sea of generic face cams and overproduced room setups. But in 2024, a glitch appeared in the Matrix. Out of the obscurity of low viewer escape from Tarkov raids emerged a three-dimensional, jittery, slightly charred legume that would eventually become the most talked-about personality in the world of live streaming. This is the story of TheBurntPeanut, a creator who didn't just climb the hierarchy of Twitch and YouTube, he essentially bypassed the ladder entirely by becoming the first VTuber in history. As of February 2026, he stands as a global phenomenon, recently reaching the pinnacle of Twitch as the #1 most watched streamer on the entire platform. To understand the Peanut is to understand a masterclass in radical reinvention. While he has guarded his real name with the intensity of a national secret, the journey of the man behind the shell is one of profound transformation. He wasn't always a digital nut. He was once just another guy in a room struggling to find his voice. By late 2025, his community, affectionately known as the Bungulators, had grown into a coordinated digital militia capable of swaying the success of multi-million-dollar game launches. He proved that in an age of 4K facial clarity, people were actually starving for something more abstract, something that blended high-tech 3D modeling with raw, unfiltered human chaos. This is the unpeeled story of a creator who turned a $5 Blender model into a multi-million-dollar brand and redefined what it means to be an icon in the 21st century. The man behind the avatar was facing a crisis of purpose. Starting around 2019, he tried to break into the scene as a standard human-style VTuber, broadcasting his gameplay for hours to an audience that rarely broke into double digits. He was talented, certainly, but he was trapped in the same uniqueness trap that claims most creators, the inability to stand out in a crowded market. The mental toll of the zero-viewer grind led to a crushing sense of burnout. He eventually did what most people do when they feel they failed: he quit. For nearly a year, the man who would be Peanut disappeared entirely from the internet, a hiatus that served as a silent incubation period for what was to come. During his time away, he wasn't just resting, he was observing the industry with a cold, analytical eye. He realized that the streamers who reached legendary status weren't necessarily the best players, but the most jarring characters. He abandoned the human VTuber aesthetic and pivoted to something utterly bizarre: an animated, motion-captured, slightly charred Peanut. He didn't just want a new mask, he wanted an avatar that operated on pure, chaotic energy. Working to develop a fully animated 3D model with a variety of costumes and skins, he built out what would eventually become his dedicated Peanut team to handle the flawless motion capture tech. When he finally hit the Go Live button in late 2024 with his new identity, he wasn't just returning to streaming, he was launching a persona that would eventually outperform creators who had dominated the space for a decade. The return of the TheBurntPeanut was an immediate shock to the system of the Escape from Tarkov community. Tarkov is a game defined by its brutal realism and sweaty, competitive intensity, making it the least likely place for a 3D Peanut to find success. Yet, the contrast was the secret sauce. While other streamers were silent and focused, Peanut was a whirlwind of energy, screaming at goop moments and celebrating every victory with his signature chaotic wit. However, his true breakout momentum didn't solidify in Tarkov. It arrived during the Battlefield 6 beta in August 2025. Supported by a massive Twitch Drops campaign, Peanut streamed relentlessly and shattered his previous records, hitting a peak of over 42,000 concurrent viewers. Unlike most creators who see a temporary surge from drops that vanishes the moment the rewards end, Peanut's numbers held. People weren't just there for the loot, they were there for the Bungulate energy. By mid-2025, the data told a story of unprecedented momentum. He moved from 30,000 followers to over 740,000 in just a few months. He wasn't just a meme streamer anymore, he was a variety powerhouse. He began collaborating with the old guard of the FPS world, names like Shroud, Summit 1G, and Myth. These veterans, who had seen every gimmick the internet had to offer, were genuinely captivated by the Peanut. His Nut Raider sessions became legendary, blending high-tier tactical gameplay with a level of improvisational comedy that felt like a throwback to the wild early days of the internet. He was proving that the avatar was not a mask to hide behind, but a megaphone that amplified a personality that had been suppressed for years. If Battlefield 6 was the spark, the late October 2025 release of Arc Raiders was the gasoline. The Burnt Peanut's transition into this new extraction shooter was the moment he went from a streamer to a cultural event. He became the undisputed face of the game, consistently ranking as the #1 most watched channel in the category. His catchphrases, Bungulate, Shard in my mouth, and Goop became the common tongue of a new generation of gamers. On February 22, 2026, he reached a staggering, record-breaking peak of over 352,000 concurrent viewers, a number that placed him firmly among the elite content creators on the platform. The Bungulator community became more than just a fan base. It became a coordinated digital tribe that could dictate the success of a server. The peak of this era was the Speranza War in November 2025. What began as a funny clip where streamer HutchMF was executed by a player chanting, "For the Bungulators," evolved into a full-scale digital gang war. Factions were formed, with Team Peanut, the Bungulators, taking on Team HutchMF, the FMF. High-profile creators like Ninja, Shroud, and XQC were pulled into the conflict, with Ninja famously siding with Peanut because his following was too massive to go against, while XQC established a neutral blue faction. The war culminated in a massive showdown at the spaceport map on November 22, where thousands of players dressed in specific red striker skins with helmets flooded the servers. It was a masterpiece of community-backed role-playing that solidified Peanut's reputation as the most influential figure in modern interactive media. As the calendar turned to 2026, the meteoric rise of the Burnt Peanut moved from a Twitch phenomenon to a full-scale industrial disruption. By January, the data was undeniable. Peanut was dominating the platform rankings with over 10.5 million hours watched in a single 30-day period, officially surpassing household names like Asmongold to become one of the most watched individual creators on the planet. However, with this level of dominance came a new, more aggressive wave of scrutiny. The viewbotting wars of early 2026 became a defining moment for the channel. On February 4, an ex-user sparked a massive debate by accusing him of viewbotting, claiming that his concurrent viewership spikes were the result of artificial inflation. The internet was divided into those who believed in the Bungulator organic growth and those who saw a manufactured glitch. Instead of retreating, the Burnt Peanut addressed the chaos head-on. During a live stream on February 5, 2026, he spoke directly to his viewers, calmly explaining that viewbotting claims are a common defense mechanism for those who simply cannot accept unprecedented growth. He didn't need to mount a massive platform-breaking defense campaign because the streaming community's titans stepped in for him. High-profile peers like XQC, Stable Ronaldo, and Noko publicly analyzed his stats on their own streams, shutting down the rumors by demonstrating how his years of low viewer grinding combined with perfect timing in Arc Raiders fueled an entirely organic explosion. This battle for authenticity didn't just clear his name, it solidified his reputation as an undeniable force on the platform. He proved that in a world of deep fakes and AI, a 3D burnt nut was actually the most honest thing on the screen. As we reach the present day in late February 2026, the story of the Burnt Peanut has achieved a mythical status. Despite ending Ironmouse's 3-year winning streak to claim Best VTuber, as well as winning Best FPS Streamer at the 2025 Streamer Awards, the man behind the shell remains a ghost. In an era where every creator is selling their authenticity through 4K vlogs and private life updates, the Peanut has achieved the ultimate paradox. He became a global icon by being completely invisible. He has successfully navigated the transition from the failed facecam years of 2019 to becoming a massive industry figure who relies on a dedicated behind-the-scenes Peanut team to keep his flawless motion capture streams running smoothly amidst endless corporate offers. The legacy of the Bungulators is one of radical reinvention. He showed the world that you don't need a model face or a billion-dollar studio to reach the top. You just need to be so undeniably yourself that the world has no choice but to watch. He turned a $5 Blender model into a cultural movement and proved that the VTuber evolution was the future of digital performance. Whether he's ruthlessly dominating the servers in Arc Raiders or hitting record-shattering peak viewerships of over 350,000 concurrents, the Peanut remains the undisputed king of the goop. He took the burnout of his past and used it to forge a future that is as weird, wild, and wonderful as the man inside the shell. From the zero-viewer streams of the past to the absolute summit of 2026, the Burnt Peanut's life is proof that no matter how much life tries to burn you, you can always emerge stronger, louder, and completely unpeeled. What was your favorite goop moment from the past year? Do you think the Peanut should ever do a face reveal? Or is the mystery what makes the Bungulators so strong? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe as we continue to document the lives of the personalities who are redefining the world. Until next time, stay Bungulated.